Hi, my name is Avery, and welcome to episode 2 of Unbothered-ish. Today we're going to be comparing and contrasting the movie The Nightmare Before Christmas and the Twisted Tale spin-off book, Sally's Lament. So, let's get into it. Of course, we're going to start with the summary first. There will be spoilers in here for both the book and the movie, so don't say I didn't warn you. Nightmare Before Christmas follows Jack Skellington, also known as the Pumpkin King. He is the leader of Halloween, which this movie takes place in Halloween Town. And we kind of find out pretty early in the movie that he is kind of struggling. He wants something new. He's kind of bored with Halloween. So he's wandering through the forest, kind of thinking of what to do next. And he stumbles across doors to the other holidays, which he doesn't know. He looks around all the holiday trees, and he sees Christmas with all the sparkly ornaments. So he stumbles into the Christmas town, where he sees all the kids playing, smiling, all the Christmas lights, the snow's falling. Basically, everyone's just super happy. And after seeing that, he decides he wants to steal Christmas, which we'll get into the rest of that later, but that's kind of the gist. The spin-off is Sally's Lament, which follows Sally, who is our side character in the movie. Sally is a doll, kind of like Frankenstein-like, in the way that she was sewn together. So she was made by Dr. Finkelstein, who is kind of a mad scientist kind of guy. And she sneaks out. We find out very early that she poisons him a lot, both in both the movie and the book. So she gets out and she's partying, and then she ends up in the graveyard at some point, where she finds out that Jack Skellington is also longing for something more. So she goes and talks to him, they have this whole conversation, and then she's wandering through the forest, similar to what Jack did in the movie. So she's wandering through the forest, kind of not really knowing what to do, how to help him, and then she stumbles across, of course, the holiday doors, goes in the Christmas town, and we're kind of going to discuss the differences there. In the book, Sally is in the graveyard, and she kind of puts pressure on the gravestone, which then makes it crumble. Jack notices her. They have this whole conversation, heart to heart. In the movie, she is just hiding behind she's like jumping from gravestone to gravestone and never talks to him. She kind of, once he leaves, she talks to herself and was like, I think she says like, "Oh, Jack," but nothing actually to his face. I think their first actual interaction, like that we know that they know each other or notice each other at any point, because it's like 30 minutes into the movie. So, but with the book, it was pretty instant. As we know, Sally finds Christmas Town. Jack originally finds it in the movie, which I guess Twisted Tale with this book was very different from the movie. It took a very different turn. In the movie, it was very like, we're in Halloween Town, we're stealing Christmas. In the book, it's very, we're in Christmas Town, we're trying to save Christmas. So, kind of switching it up a little bit. In the movie, there's this whole sequence when Jack is falling in, where there's all the snow and all that stuff, which is kind of what I imagined this part in the book to be, because when Sally is falling into Christmas Town, she kind of has this vision of like sugar plums dancing and all this stuff, which is funny because she walks around Christmas Town and finds this like shopkeeper, and she's like, "Oh, sugar plums, great, let me get some." Doesn't have money, so the shopkeeper gives them to her for free, but it's just all very suspicious. So it's like, can we really trust the shopkeeper? What's going on in this town? So there is a new character in the book, which really took me off guard. I was like, oh, So the character is a porcelain doll named Abigail. Like she walks and finds like a talent show. She sees Abigail there and they kind of talk for a little bit. And during their interaction, a kid throws a snowball at her. And then these tin soldiers put the kid in a bag and take him away. That's like kind of the first concrete sign that something's going on. And no one around it like reacts at all. So she's like, what? And a robot like starts malfunctioning and the tin soldiers are going after him. So Sally goes on stage, takes her head off. And was like, oh, here's my trick. The guards didn't like that, and they start going after her. Abigail's like, run, get out of here. So she runs, goes back to Halloween Town, gets Jack, and they end up coming back. A lot going on here. The whole, like, thing going on in Christmas Town is that if you're not perfect, you're not being like an example for the rest of Christmas Town, which kind of is so they're taking them away to get them away from everyone else, which Sally and Jack go on an adventure to find them. Great stuff. She goes in eggnog, like quicksand, which we'll go back to that later. And pretty much they find them in the coal mines. There's a coal monster. They end up becoming friends with him. You're like, oh, you can come to Halloween Town, so you're not like a monster or like a freak, and you're not vanished. The whole thing is that an elf was power hungry and was taking away all the people that weren't perfect, putting them in this room with literally nothing in it, and just being like, okay, you can't, if you don't have Christmas joy, then if you don't have enough, you're not going to get any. You know that they come back to Halloween Town after Christmas Town is saved, and Sally like stands up to Dr. Finkelstein, gets an apartment, starts like this shop, which was all very insane. But the movie, let's get back to that. The movie, Zero doesn't come to Christmas Town. In the book, Zero does end up in Christmas Town. He's like playing with the reindeer at some point, which was kind of interesting because Zero is Jack's best friend, not Sally's. I will say that Jack did find Christmas Town weird, but not because it was being like ruled by some crazy elf, just because it was Christmas. Like he was just, kids are happy, they're throwing snowballs, they're building snowmen. Kind of a different kind of, this is weird, than like there's actually something going on here. It wasn't that he wanted to help Christmas, it was that he wanted to take it for himself. Seen the movie, you know that doesn't work out, and he ends up giving kids tricks, not treats. Of course, he had this whole elaborate plan to take Santa, and Oogie Boogie Man has him. He saves him from the Oogie Boogie Man. Santa replaces all the presents because Jack messed it up. And everyone was mad at him. By everyone, I mean, like, the kids in Christmas Town, the people that celebrate Christmas. It's very Grinch-like in the way that he wants to steal Christmas, but he's so obsessed with it that he wants it. So it's kind of different in that way. I did make a note here how he was like, oh, there's no monsters under the bed. What's going on here? Why are their dreams all happy? Why is there no nightmares? Because there was the whole like song where he first got into the Christmas Town where it's like, what's this? Good song. It's kind of showing how foreign this new world is to him. Jack has the old town meeting, as we know, wants to steal Christmas. I will say something I found very interesting was the fact that he had this chalkboard in the movie. On it, it says something about sugar plums and something about eggnog, which that was interesting kind of tie that they made in the book, where the sugar plums show up, Sally gets them from the store, they're in her vision, and eggnog is like the quicksand, which I thought that was kind of cool. Most of the movie takes place in Halloween Town, which is different in the book where it takes place in Christmas Town, which I think I said that earlier, which I thought was an interesting choice to change the setting and make the Christmas Town the main focal point in the book. And then, of course, at the end of the movie, Santa brings snow and joy to Halloween Town. There really isn't much similar from the movie and the book. The book was a completely different story. I get it's like a twisted tale, but I didn't know it was going to be that, like, different from the movie. I thought it was going to be a little more similar, where kind of, like, Sally tells Jack, like, oh, there's this Christmas Town. and then Jack finds it and wants to steal it. Or, like, she initiates the stealing. Follow a similar, like, track to them wanting to kind of steal Christmas, which it went off the rails. It was this whole adventure to save Christmas from this evil elf, Mr. Jingles, I think. Yeah, it was Mr. Jingles. And it was, description kind of gave the critic from Ratatouille, with it obviously an elf outfit on. But overall, it was very different. I will say there were some points where I was like, this is kind of running in the movie. Like I said, the vision was kind of giving me the same energy that, like, him falling into the Christmas town, like when she was having the vision falling into Christmas town and there was like the snow around Jack during the Christmas town. Yeah, it was very different. I did like how Sally stood up to Finkelstein instead of Jack doing it for her later on. But that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Unbothered-ish. Make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you back here next time. Bye!